Actually, joining me right now is David Leebron. He's the president of Rice University. Thank you so much for being here. This was actually something I was going to ask you about even before this just coming in from this lawsuit. You have been, Rice University had been supporting Harvard and MIT along with many other schools in trying to fight this directive coming from the administration. You've been very outspoken, speaking out against this. What's your reaction now?
Well, I'm really delighted to hear this very important news for our students. As we said, we thought the original rules that had been suggested were cruel and misguided. They didn't serve our universities, they didn't serve our students, and frankly, they didn't serve our country. And so we're delighted at this reversal. I want to thank Harvard and MIT for filing the suit, which we joined in a brief. This is just great news for our students. And I think, as you said very well, it's not just great news for our international students, it's great news for all of our students. And it's great news for the future of our country in terms of what our international students contribute to our country, what they do when they graduate. This is a very sensible decision, and I'm grateful for the reversal of the government position on this.
And in that amicus brief that Rice University filed, you even talk about some of the students that would be impacted here, some of the foreign students, what they're researching, what they're contributing, what they're already doing here in the United States. You do have to wonder, Shimon, my colleague, posed this question. I'd like to get your take on what the administration was thinking to begin with in putting this directive in place.
Well, I'm, of course, not sure. There was a suggestion that they really wanted to put pressure on the universities like K through 12 to be open in the fall. Our current plans are to be open in a very careful way. So that's one possibility. But I think it's also an illustration that when you have a kind of xenophobic attitude, it spreads and ultimately results in things that make absolutely no sense at all in terms of good government policy. And I think that's what we've seen here. And it's good to see it withdrawn. I would like to see really much more proactive approach to welcoming people to this country, and particularly to welcoming our international students.
Well, this is will be a welcome announcement to many students at Rice University and far beyond. You talked about how you are planning to reopen in a careful fashion come the fall. Rice is literally trying a very unique way, a solution to kind of the biggest problem is how do you bring people back on campus to teach in person and keep them socially distanced. You're going to be putting up, I was seeing, an open-sided tents on campus to try to teach students in the safest way possible, which is classrooms outdoors. How is this going to work?
So we're constructing 9 kind of tents on our campus. 4 are what we call semi-permanent. They'll actually probably be up for a period of years. That creates larger spaces that we do can accommodate larger groups. We won't be allowing classes of more than 25 at this point, or gatherings of more than 50, and we'll constantly review that guidance at Rice. I think for the open-sided tents, as it were, that creates, of course, a lot of air flowing through. All of the scientific research that we've seen suggests that's one factor in creating a safer environment. And all of this is about, as you said, the physical distancing of our students, having students and other people, all people on our campus, wear masks, having them not engage in unnecessary contact, and where possible, being outdoors. And if you put all those measures together, we believe that we can maintain a safe environment for our students and faculty. That said, we're also giving people choice. And so we're planning what we call dual delivery, some call it hybrid delivery, and students can choose. Do they want to be on campus going to classes, or do they prefer to take them remotely?
How does what's happening in the broader community in Houston impact your decisions on schools? Because we know that the mayor of Houston is saying that the city needs to be shutting down for 2 weeks. The state really does. And you just look on our screen, you can see the numbers of cases that are just being hit just Monday in the Houston area and in Texas, which were breaking records. How does what's happening in Houston impact what's happening in a university in Houston and Rice?
Well, we have to pay close attention to that in two different respects. One, we have to pay close attention to what the risks are on our campus. We think we've adopted policies which include testing, making sure we have available adequate quarantining and isolation facilities. And so we have to make sure our students follow the rules and that we can maintain the safety on our campus. And so we'll constantly evaluate that. But the second aspect is making sure that medical care is available. And so we're following very closely the occupancy of the hospital beds in the Texas Medical Center. And right now that seems to be under a fair amount of control, but we have concerns as those numbers have been increasing lately. And we'll continue to watch that closely as we approach the fall.
Yeah, having to be flexible and nimble is unfortunately an absolute necessity at this moment. As you were in jumping on in the breaking news to get on with us early, I really appreciate it, David. Thank you very much for your time. Good luck in the fall.
Great. Thank you so much. Take care.